Hi, everybody. I hope you had a great time with Ilya, Wilson, and Eric. I'm here to talk about how NEAR has eco-friendly NFTs, but not just eco-friendly NFTs. We actually have really awesome NFTs and a lot of really exciting projects in our ecosystem that have to do with NFTs. So I actually have a talk that's more focused for developers, and I'm going to show some actual work in my IDE and in my browser and some demos. So I'll share my screen now. Okay, so I'm going to kind of take over the presentation slides here, and I'm just going to share a little outline of my talk. So first, I'm going to go over why NEAR Protocol, like why should you as a developer choose NEAR to build on. Then I'm going to talk about our amazing ecosystem. Next, I'm going to go over some of the developer concepts because some of these concepts are different when you're moving from Ethereum or when you're moving from a Web 2 background into a crypto blockchain background. Then I'm going to demo an NFT marketplace that you can actually spin up on your own in about 5 minutes. Next, I'm going to talk about the NFT standards on NEAR, and then I'm going to talk about why NEAR is a perfect fit for creators. So just to mention, we do have an ongoing hackathon. You can go to Linktree, that's linktr.ee/NEARInc to find out all about the hackathon. So you should definitely go check that out. We still have 2 more weeks in the hackathon, lots of support and resources for you to learn. But let's talk about why should you as a developer choose NEAR Protocol for your next crypto or blockchain application. So we at NEAR believe that everyone should be able to create, own, and exchange value on the internet. And what we did with NEAR is we built an easy to develop blockchain where you can make your smart contracts and your applications in sort of record time and get to market. NEAR is fast, it's inexpensive, and it's scalable, which you heard about before. We also have a very important account system that's much different than any other blockchain, which I'll be touching on a little bit later as well. And it's very flexible, which leads to excellent UX. We're also connected to Ethereum with the Rainbow Bridge and the Aurora project, which are super exciting. And I have no idea why, but this keeps turning into a red heart. But it keeps turning into a black heart from a red heart. I assure you, we do not have a black-hearted ecosystem, but I guess it makes for a great joke. We have an amazing ecosystem with lots of heart. So eco-friendly blockchain. What makes NEAR eco-friendly is that we were certified by South Pole Global carbon offsets for our entire blockchain. This is the validators and everything. And I'm certain you heard this from Ilya before, but if you want to find out any more about this, you go to near.ai/climate neutral and you can read more. I want to talk about our ecosystem, and touching on that climate point, I wanted to mention my friend Joseph Pallant, who works for Block for Climate or Blockchain for Climate Foundation. And you can find him at Block for Climate or at Joseph Pallant. And here's us wearing our NEAR hoodies and our Blockchain for Climate Foundation hoodies as well. Also in our ecosystem, we have Collabland. So James Young, you might know, he's a founder of a lot of things actually in the Ethereum ecosystem. So I think they call him the godfather of TCRs. He's also a co-founder of Moloch DAO and Collabland if you've ever entered a token curated Discord. Chloe, the dev from our ecosystem, who you've probably seen on Twitter, she is amazing, and she is like the lifeblood of the Create-based community, which is sort of a community that supports the Mint-based project, but all creators in NEAR. And we're very lucky to have her. And then there's mintbase.io, which actually just launched their mainnet. So this is like super exciting time for NEAR. And Caro and Nate, the founders of Mintbase, are just incredible. I actually worked really closely with Mintbase and Thor from Mintbase on the NFT standard and the royalty standard, which I'll talk about a little bit later. We also have Flux. So Flux Protocol, congratulations. They just raised an incredible seed round, and they're doing amazing stuff on NEAR, and they've been with NEAR since the beginning. I think as long as Mintbase as well. And we also have paras.id or Paras, which just came out of nowhere. So two founders from Indonesia. It started out as an identity project. Paras means face, but it actually flourished into an NFT marketplace, one of the first on NEAR, and they're doing incredible stuff right now. So there's the demo setup slide. So I'm going to actually go to my, I'm actually going to go to GitHub first. And I'm going to show you how you could set this up while I'm sort of finishing my talk. Now, some stuff's going to run in the background, but I'll tell you what that is. So I'm going to clone this repo. It's github.com/near-apps/NFT-market, or just up here, you can see that. So you jump into your IDE, and what you're going to do is you're going to clone that repo. I'm going to clone it into a folder called NFT-demo. And once what's done, I'm just going to go into NFT demo folder here, and I'm going to hit yarn and yarn test deploy. So what this is going to do is it's going to compile my smart contracts, and it's going to deploy them on the NEAR testnet, and it's going to run through a bunch of tests. But obviously that's going to take a little bit of time. Despite the fact that NEAR is fast, these tests are like, there's a bunch of tests running there, and there's a lot of compiling going on. So I'll let that run in the background, and then we'll come back and we'll check out how that went. So let me jump back to my presentation here and talk to you a little bit about some of the developer concepts. So when you're developing on NEAR, you typically use tools like NEAR API.js, which is our JavaScript library, and the NEAR CLI. What you're responsible for is writing contracts and your application. So you create contracts using Rust or assembly script, and those contracts are for your data storage and basically the ownership of various sort of ledgers, fungible tokens, non-fungible tokens, voting in a DAO. And that's what goes on in your contracts. And then you're responsible, of course, for your application. Now, what you do with these tools is you deploy that logic, those smart contracts, to the NEAR blockchain. And then the NEAR blockchain handles accounts, transactions. It generates like receipts for various transactions that you change the state of the blockchain with. So accounts. So I mentioned before, we have an incredible account system. It's very flexible. So for each account on NEAR, you can actually add and remove a bunch of keys. As a developer, you'll give your user the option to add and remove keys, and they'll choose whether or not they want to add or remove those keys to their account by using their wallet. Each of these keys, it's really important to note the stack here. There's many keys for one account, and each key can have a receiver, which is a contract that it can call. You can specify the methods and the gas allowance that you're willing to allow that key to use. Now, when it uses that gas allowance, it uses the user's NEAR tokens. So the user gets to kind of make that decision, add the key, don't add the key, and then they get this stack of keys. But what that allows the application to do is once the user's added the key, the application can call the contract directly. So it can just go from app to contract, which is really quite powerful concept. And we can manage a lot of non-custodial user accounts and sort of sponsor gas fees, do like kind of meta transaction style stuff. It's very powerful. So contracts, I want to mention that as a developer, you're basically handling the collections, the ownership, the accounts, the balances of all sorts of assets that belong to your app. Then the user, in the data store, which is basically like inside the contract, these collections are going to insert, remove, get, typical sort of database stuff. And then once they're deployed, it generates all these transactions and receipts. So a lot of concepts there, but let's just bring it all together and let's think about, as from a developer's perspective, you build your application, you write your contracts, you deploy your contracts, and then the user can choose to add and remove some keys, and then they use those keys to go in and out of collections that are inside your smart contracts that are deployed on the NEAR blockchain. See, it's really simple. I'm just joking. If you don't get it at the first blush, it's okay. I realize this is a very kind of rapid, high-level overview, but it really is simple once you kind of get your head around the basic concepts. But now I'd like to go back to the demo and spend some time actually looking at the code. So let's go back here. it's still running a little bit of the test, but what I can do is I can actually, oh, it just finished. Okay, that's a pleasant surprise for me. So let's look at what it did. I mean, it ran through a whole bunch of tests. You can obviously tell that it's an NFT marketplace, and it sort of ran through a bit of a scenario. You know, Bob approves a sale, and then Alice outbids somebody. So they're bidding on NFTs. It's kind of a scenario here. So I'm gonna open that folder, and we're gonna look at NFT demo. And we're going to go into the source code here, and we're going to go into the test here. So I want to show you what just happened. It just ran through this entire JavaScript jest test, and it actually deployed against our testnet. So actually, I'll have to look here. Whoops. This is a temporary developer contract, and I'm going to actually show you on the blockchain, on the Block Explorer, where that is. So you'll see that it ran through all these tests, and this is a bunch of stuff that was done with this temporary NFT contract account. So there was an account created on the NEAR testnet called dev something something something, and a bunch of this stuff was done. NFT mint, offer. People bidding and outbidding each other, transferring fungible tokens to buy NFTs, a whole lot of good stuff. And if you walk through this file, I'll just clean this up a bit. If you walk through this app.test.js file, you can actually see everything that's going on here. And you can, as a developer, you can walk through just what's involved with setting up an NFT marketplace, deploying those contracts, walking through this scenario of people minting NFTs, for example, and then approving a sale in a fixed amount of NEAR tokens. It's really quite cool. And notice there's royalties being declared. So these are perpetual royalties for the NFT. Every time they're transferred on a secondary sale, the royalties are paid back to the artist. It's really quite comprehensive, our NFT standard, which I'll also kind of overview in a moment. So I just wanted to walk through this. And what else is really cool about the NFT market repo is that once you've done those two commands I did in the beginning, yarn and yarn test deploy, you actually have a contract out there, and you can actually run yarn start, and then you can basically look at the NFT marketplace that you just deployed. So there's a couple of, there's Ilya, our fearless leader. There's a couple of NFTs that are already deployed, and those were deployed during the tests that I just showed you that were running. But let's, I think I have to sign out and sign back in. So let's sign into our own app now. That was just because I was on localhost. So now I am signed in with a testnet account on a newly deployed NFT marketplace on the NEAR testnet. And I'm going to go to mint, and I'm going to actually mint something. So this is not a very, there's no backend storage, no IPFS, nothing like that. This looks cool. So all you're doing here is you're basically just minting NFTs that are links to some GIF or some image or whatever. I'm going to add a perpetual royalty for myself. So I'm going to pay, every time this token is transferred, I'm going to pay myself 5%. So there it is. It's ready to be minted. And I'm going to mint that. Now it takes me to the NEAR wallet to approve the transaction. So I'm going to approve that. And then I'm back here, and it says, there we go. There's my, it says I own this. And here under my NFTs, this is mine. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to register with the marketplace to sell. On NEAR, when you add information to to a collection or a data structure inside a smart contract, you have to stake some NEAR to basically cover storage. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to register with the marketplace and give them a tiny bit of NEAR to say that I'm going to list some NFTs for sale now. So I'm going to approve that transaction. So now I'm back in the app. I go to my NFTs, and basically I'm going to add a sale condition. So I'm going to sell this NFT for 10 NEAR. So now I'm going to approve that. Now, because I'm actually putting my NFT up for sale, I had it redirect and ask me to confirm this transaction. So once that's up for sale in the marketplace, I've got 10 NEAR here. So this is in my new NFT Marketplace on testnet, and I can actually sign out, and I hope I have another account that I can sign in as. Yeah, I do. It's md1.testnet. So I'm going to sign in as a different user to the NFT Marketplace, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy that NFT. So I'm going to say I'm going to pay the price of 10 NEAR. I'm going to purchase that, and that should go through. And now I own this, but I am a different person. I am md1.testnet. So I'm going to go to my NFTs, and there it is. And I haven't registered for the market yet. But if I go back to si1.testnet, I mean, you can kind of imagine what's going to happen. It's owned by someone else. It's not for sale. So there it is, owned by MD1. And we can also verify that because you are all developers. We can verify that on the testnet here. So an offer was made, an approve was made, and a mint was done. So SI1 minted. Let me just blow this up a little bit. SI1 minted an NFT. SI1 approved the NFT for sale on the marketplace, and that's a separate contract. It's selling an NFT from one contract on a marketplace that sort of defines how sales are handled in another account. And then md1.testnet made an offer, and you can click in to see, how much gas was used and what happened with this transaction. So, buy this token from this contract with this token ID. Okay, so that's kind of like the technical part of the demo. So I'm just going to jump right back into my slides, and I am going to mention that I think I put this on a bit.ly link. I hope somewhere. I should have put it in these slides so you could see it, but I think it's bit.ly/NEAR consensus. No. Okay. I will figure out how to get you the bit.ly link, or you can come into our Discord and you can chat with me if you'd really like these slides and these links. NEAR.chat. And let's talk a little bit about the NEAR NFT standards. So I've been working really hard on some of these with our partners. We have the NFT core, the metadata, and the royalties, which you just saw in action here. And we are working on a multi-token standard. So that's one NFT contract that can handle many different token types. So for example, if you were an artist and you wanted to do a limited series of 50 distinct NFTs, but they were all part of the same group or type of token, you would be able to do that with a multi-token standard. And then something that logically comes off of that is something called lazy minting or mint on demand. And that is basically the ability to sell 1 million tokens, but obviously that's a little bit heavy for any one user to completely mint up front. So what you would have to do is you'd have to sell a token type, and you'd have to put up for sale 1 million potential sort of tokens to be purchased. And when each person buys them, they're minting them as they're purchasing them. So that's some exciting stuff that we're working on. Now I want to talk about NEAR and creators and the NEAR ecosystem and how it's evolving. So we obviously have DAOs in the form of Sputnik and Moloch. We have NFT standards that I mentioned, and we also have finance. We have a lot of DeFi projects and fungible tokens and tokens that are crossing the rainbow bridge into NEAR. And all of this adds up to basically say, we're bridging Web 2 and Web 3 together. Our ecosystem and tools are flourishing, and we're using projects like the Rainbow Bridge and Aurora to make this possible. But we're also using the amazing power of the NEAR protocol and our account system and the UX that offers new users, mainstream users to crypto to make this possible. Also, your amazing project, SDK, API, and protocol can receive a grant from the NEAR Foundation for development. I'm going to skip over that. So links, If you want some helpful links, here they are, and I'll get these slides out. I'll probably just tweet them out. So at Matt D. Lockyer, just follow me. So we have an exciting project coming up. I'm out of time with Peter and Ed from the Universal Hip Hop Museum. So they will show this code again, and you'll be able to scan it. I don't think I have time for questions, but I'd like to thank everybody for checking out this presentation.